Yo, 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 what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Shamal Pope, aka Jay Phoenix, and this is going to be your astrology forecast for the weekend of February 3rd and the 4th of 2024. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. Hopefully, you guys had a wonderful week, and I trust that you guys have a wonderful weekend. Let's go ahead and hop into these astrological transits so we can see how you can be better prepared to navigate these celestial energies. Go ahead and pull up that February 2024 transit calendar. And I don't really think we're going to have a whole lot going on this weekend. It's really going to be mostly the moon making aspects, but we're going to have some building energy on Saturday. Of course, with the moon making some sextiles over to this late Capricorn energy, it does oppose Uranus as well, but that's earlier in the day. So most people probably aren't going to really feel that energy as much. And it will try Neptune today, so that's also a very positive thing. And of course, Sunday is going to move into Sagittarius, where it's going to, start making some quincunxes to like the Taurus energy, and it'll start to sextile. It'll immediately sextile Pluto and Aquarius too. So, like I said, this is going to be a pretty chill weekend, just mainly compared to the rest of the month. I think the rest of the month gets a lot more intense. As you can see, starting Monday, if things really start to kick off in a pretty big way. So let's go ahead and pull up the chart itself. All right, so as you can see right here, we have that moon here at 20 degrees. I'm gonna move it forward an hour because I'm closer to 9 o'clock. So, so we have the moon finishing up in Scorpio today. It's not really going to make a whole lot more aspects. It will, like I said, trine over to Neptune. It will sextile Mars. It will sextile Mercury today. So those are the main things that we're going to see. Like I said, it's coming off with the opposition to Uranus. So by the time that you guys watch this, it would have been finished with the opposition. And of course, this moon being in the decan that it rules, it's probably like the best place that it could be in as far as Scorpio goes. But remember, it is still in fall here. So whenever the moon is in Scorpio, typically emotions run a little bit deeper. Emotions run a little bit more intense, if you will. And, you know, it's about, establishing those healthy emotional boundaries. That's what the moon in Scorpio does. That's what it seeks to teach us. But like I said, it's about feeling deeper. The moon is in a sunken place right now, being in Scorpio. So now we do have somewhat of a loose uh, Earth trine here with Mars and Uranus, and of course Black Moon Lilith with Juno, and the moon, of course, opposing Uranus. So we do have a bit of a kite energy, but it's very loose. So I would say that, we have to be able to see the positives and, the areas that, may not necessarily appear as positive. We need to find the positives as far as, how we can continue to advance ourselves with the Capricorn energy, the Uranian energy, and Taurus. Things are still going to kind of come out of nowhere. It's kind of random. And then Black Moon Lilith and Juno are retrograde here in Virgo, right? So, and these are minor, aspects. Black Moon Lilith is a calculation. Juno is a minor asteroid, but it's about our commitment to our reality, And with that moon here in Scorpio, this is, like I said, it's about whether or not we can kind of peer in deeper into ourselves, really see the possibilities of, what we can do, what we can accomplish, and know that, yeah, things are going to happen. Things may randomly come out of nowhere, certain conversations. And of course, Mars here exalted in Capricorn, involved in this loose Earth trine with the kite forming to the moon. Yeah, this is about, what actions can we take to really, progress ourselves forward. And we're wanting to climb that mountain. We're wanting to have the success. We're wanting to be the leader in our own lives. But it's going to come down to whether or not, we can commit to this reality in any ways. A reality that, of course, is collapsing, but it's about committing really to the service. Virgo here is all about the service. And whether we can actually commit ourselves to a greater sense of service to people, to purpose, because Uranus does rule the people, and it is in Taurus. It's in the house of values and self-worth. So it's about whether or not we can find ourselves committing to a greater sense of purpose, and really acting in a way that not only exemplifies and exalts our sense of value, but the value of those around us. And we have to make sure that, of course, the people that we're opening up to, the people that we're connecting to emotionally with that moon in Scorpio, are people that aren't just going to just completely shit on our boundaries. You know what I'm saying? These are going, it's got to be people that aren't just going to come in and just completely trash the place, you know? Don't, that's the weird thing about the moon in Scorpio, is that it can be a pretty cold energy. It can be very icy as far as keeping people out. But then there's also the empathetic side where you want to let people in, but you got to be wary about the people that you let into your life. Because, like I said, are these people they're going to respect your boundaries, or are they just going to completely trash your boundaries? I think another other thing too here that we have to remind ourselves is that we don't necessarily want to jump the gun. If someone comes into our space and they cross our boundaries, so to speak, maybe they do so unintentionally. And we don't want to necessarily blow up at them either just because they don't know. They may just be simply ignorant to them. So we have to educate them. We have to inform them on our boundaries, if you will. But the other thing too is that we also don't want to be so knee-jerk reactiony in this moment with a Chiron that's coming close to the North Node, that we are overly identifying with woundings and traumas and pain and hurt and taking that out on other people. That's the other part about this that we have to remind ourselves, is that, yeah, someone may cross our boundaries, but then we have to still ask ourselves, well, this boundary, is this something that is set up to simply like protect me, or is it something that's actually holding me back at the same time? We have to really ask ourselves that question. Like, are the boundaries that we are placing, are they something that actually restrict us, or is it something that allows us to accurately express what is in our hearts? And I think that's the important thing here. I think sometimes people will set up these emotional boundaries, if you will, and they do so from a place of hurt and pain, and then which is natural. It's sort of like an adaptation. But at some point, how long do we keep up those barriers, and at one point does the thing that we feel protects us become our prison? And that's the major question that we have here, right? Now we're going to see, of course, that moon is going to trine over to Neptune today at 25 degrees. This is a pretty powerful thing. But this is dealing with more like your spiritual boundaries, right? And it's a harmonizing aspect here. And like I said, Neptune's been here at 25 degrees for a while now. And it's been every single time that a planet hits it, it's been dealing with a more spiritual, etheric realm. So these are the spiritual, emotional boundaries that are in harmony right now with this sort of trine. And I think this is just going to give us another opportunity to really feel deeper into, our purpose, why are we here? But like I said, at the same time, just because it's a harmonizing energy doesn't necessarily mean that it's always going to be a positively aspected kind of energy. Neptune is one of those planets where it's like it can be positive and it can be negative, just like any planet. But a lot of times Neptune will just it's like a flood. It will drown you, and it will kind of it will like whip you around. And the ocean is unforgiving. Like one moment it seems calm and peaceful, and the next minute it is whipping you around. And I think with the energy like this, you're only going to feel it for like maybe a few hours or so, right? Because the moon moves very, very fast. But this is, I would say, be on the lookout around 5, 6, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, of course, where your emotions, you're probably going to get like a deeper sense. And this could be a time to maybe even pray or do some meditation around this time. But there's definitely something here when it comes to like these deeper emotional boundaries, and there can be an opportunity here to open up to spirit, to open up to these more etheric places. But this is more so like a portal that's opening up. And you want to just make sure that you're opening up the right portals. You want to make sure that you're not opening up portals to allow certain energies to come in and hijack you. There's certain entities that come in and hijack your energy. That's one thing that I would be careful of with a trine like this, especially, like I said, moon in Scorpio trining over to Neptune, so it's going to come from like a deeper place. I would just say be careful about the portals that you're opening up around 5, 6, 7 p.m. because you don't know really what entities may leak through, and whether or not they have your best interest at heart. They could just be trying to zap you like you're some sort of emotional battery. And I would say just be careful of that. Be careful of people potentially leeching your energy around this time today, just because I'm just feeling called to say that. But I get the sense that this trine, like, while it is, yes, a harmonious aspect, I get the feeling that it may be more of a draining aspect than something that actually gives to us. So we have to just be careful of the set and setting of the surrounding. That, I think, is the most important part here. Now we're going to see, of course, that moon before the end of the day. It will sextile over to Mercury. Like I said, I see sextiles as opportunities. Mercury is getting closer to Pluto, and of course, the moon is in the sign ruled by Pluto. This is, like I said, we are kind of coming to this point where you know we know intuitively that there's a major transformation that has happened in the world and in our society. And now Mercury is about to get this sort of aha moment once it comes over Pluto for the first time in this way. Because remember, the last time that Mercury was here with Pluto, it conjuncted Pluto while it was in Capricorn. It hadn't ingressed into Aquarius yet. So this will be the first time in all of our lives that we see Mercury conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. And like I said, in all of our lifetime, unless, like I said, you're 200 plus, like 240 years old, right? So, which there are probably some people out there that are 240 plus years old, but this is the first time for the great majority of us that we've ever seen this. So now this moon is going to be sextiling over to Mercury and allows us this opportunity to, I think this is really going to help us to, we had to sort of conceptualize and compartmentalize what's going on here. I think, you know, we have to find a way not to, you don't want to ever suppress your emotions in the way that you feel. But I think sometimes we do have to sort of compartmentalize our emotions and kind of structure it in a way to where it's not something that's going to, you know, completely control and dominate our vibration, right? You know what I mean? So it's like I said, I would never suggest anyone to suppress the way that they feel, but sometimes we do compartmentalize emotions or water. I mean, you can even see that the world does that, I mean, but it still all flows. Like the world compartmentalizes emotions or water into rivers and lakes and oceans and streams and puddles, but it's all water and it still flows. So it's not a suppression of it because water is going to go. It follows the path of least resistance. It does, but we still have to have some type of structure and organization to this, and I think that's where the Mercury and Capricorn is coming through here. The main thing, I think with Saturday is really, like I said, it's a day of building energy. We're building up to what I believe is going to be one of the most powerful months of the year. And I'm really not sure what's going to happen, but I have a feeling that March and April are going to make 2020 look like mundane. I don't know why. I just get the feeling that February is sort of like the setup for it. Like we are in 2024. Like we really are. But I do feel like this month is sort of like the setup for, like, the stage is being set for real. And February kind of feels like Act One. Like January was setting up everything. February is sort of like Act One, or like the prologue, if you will. And then I don't like March and April. I just feel like things are going to, like, really seriously pop. Um, so we're gonna move, of course, into Sunday. Moon is gonna move into Sagittarius. Moon is going to sextile Pluto immediately. It's around 2 a.m. So most of you guys are probably gonna be asleep. Some of you guys may be awake in other parts of the world. but most of you guys are probably going to be asleep when this happens. And really on Sunday, it's really just the moon moving throughout Sagittarius. We will see it make a square over to Saturn. At 6 degrees here. This is also going to be when it's going to be quincunxing Jupiter around the same time, if you will. You can see that Mercury has moved to the 29th degree of Capricorn, so it's getting ready to move into Aquarius. So the moon in Sag, of course, brings a little bit more of a jovial, uplifting energy. Typically, we're looking more on the positive side of things too. But of course, with the square over to Saturn, that provides a bit of a challenge, if you will. Saturn navigating the seas of Pisces right now at 6 degrees. It's about whether or not we can really open up, to the whole journey, open up to the journey, open up to the spiritual journey. That's really what this square is going to be about. And be open to, what comes and what to the emotions that come through, and allowing ourselves to feel those emotions and then to allow them to pass. This is about whether or not we can really navigate the seas, if you will, with the Saturn and Pisces, and just, like I said, be open, not be so rigid. This is mutable energy, so we can't be super rigid about this. We can't be super like it has to be looked this way, or be fixated that it has to look this particular way. That's not really what this is about. Yeah, we do, of course, have the sun in Aquarius. And yeah, we do have the sun in Aquarius, so we do have some fixed energy. We have Aquarius energy, we have Taurus energy. There's no Leo energy, and there's not really any Scorpio energy besides Pallas Athena, right? So all of the fixed energy is in the more, I guess you could say, the more fixed, or like fixed signs. Like Taurus is the most fixed sign, and then you kind of have Aquarius there too, right? So, but I really feel like with this particular square, it's about being open up. This is about being open, receptive to the messages that are coming from the universe. Saturn is also about these harder lessons in life, the way that we grow, the battle of attrition in life. Being open to the whole of the spiritual journey and the lessons that come through and what we're being taught. And that's really what this square is coming down to. The moon, of course, is going to also make a quincunx over to Jupiter, which is that awkward stare, like I said, from across the room. But we got to remember, moon exalts in Taurus and Jupiter rules Sag. So this is not the worst of awkward stares, but it's kind of like the moon is looking at Jupiter and Jupiter's looking at the moon, and they're wearing each other's clothes, and they're like, oh, okay. Like it's like it's it's sort of like that awkward moment where it's like, hey, you're wearing what I normally wear. And one's like, yeah, you're wearing what I normally wear. And so there's sort of like it's an awkward moment, but there's almost like this interesting, like, okay, all right. There's like this weird, like, sigh of relief. Like, I feel like there's a moment where it's like, maybe you're wanting to try and impress somebody, or try to, maybe like a situation, you're hoping that it kind of goes a certain way, but then you kind of have like this weird moment where it's like, okay, you're kind of embracing what I do, and I'm kind of embracing what you do. So maybe we are on the same page, even though it seems a little bit awkward. Maybe we can get on the same page. And that's the whole thing with this moon and Jupiter quincunx, which of course is happening at 7 degrees. So there's a lot of energies with 7, being with the moon at 25 degrees Scorpio, making the trine over to Neptune. So we have a 7 energy with 2 plus 5. Then we get the 7 energy with the moon and Jupiter here again. So like I said, there's a lot of things that are coming up with the 7 energy, Neptunian energy, more these spiritual, etheric, unseen areas. And especially there are some portals here that are opening up, I feel, and we just got to be careful about what portals we're going in and out of, what we're jumping into, what energies we're jumping into, the people that we're associating with. You have to just be careful and just be discerning of what we're kind of jumping in and out of. But like I said, with this kind of a quincunx here, I think it can be a very, very positive one, actually, because it's sort of like okay, about seeing, what we truly value and expanding on that, and then feeling good about that expansion, feeling happy about that expansion. You know what I'm saying? With the moon in Sagittarius. Come the end of the day, we're going to see the moon. It's going to reach about 12 degrees at 12 a.m. And it's pretty much not going to really make any other major aspects on, for the rest of Sunday. So I think this is, like I said, Saturday is probably, I would say, the more difficult of the days. If you will, just because even though, like I said, the moon's going to trine over to Neptune, I think it's going to add like a weird kind of element. I don't know. I just get the feeling spirits just tell me is just like portals opening up in energy and being careful about, who you associate with, and be careful about what kind of things you open up with right now. I just think that's really important to, be discerning during this time. And I think, like I said, even the moon squaring over to Saturn, yeah, it's a challenging aspect, but I don't think it's going to be the worst aspect that we're going to have, even though it does quincunx Jupiter, which is also very awkward. But I think by the time that happens, you it's sort of like oh, okay, you know, I can get through this. I can move forward. I can expand on these values, and I can expand on my sense of self-worth, and I can feel better about the future and feel better about my vision overall. And that's really what it comes down to. But yeah, like I said, this is setting up for Monday the 5th, which I think is going to be the first of 3 extremely powerful days of this whole month. So let's go ahead and hop into the cards. All right, let's see what we got here. Well, I have the Ace of Cups in reverse. As I said, be careful about the portals, the emotional portals that you're opening up. Ace of Cups in reverse. I have that followed by, well, the Ten of Pentacles upright. So, yeah, this is literally a tale of 2 days. Ten of Pentacles is definitely more like the Sunday energy. The Ace of Cups in reverse is definitely more like the Saturday energy. I think it's sort of like, we just kind of want to feel like things are moving in the right direction. Maybe the feeling's just going to be a little bit off this weekend, and we have to learn how to observe the energy and observe our emotions and embrace them, but without being totally overtaken by them. This is going to be a weekend where, I think we can maybe feel more into our personal situations and feel like things have to look and be a certain way. But then we come to Sunday and we realize that the true value is not necessarily in the things that we accumulate, like physical things. That can be a kind of a reflection of it, but it's really going to come down to connecting with other people, connecting with our family, our loved ones. The service that you bring to this world, the purpose that you have in this world, that is what determines your value, not stuff, but your sense of purpose and what you bring into this world, right? God-given purpose. I do have the Three of Swords here at the bottom, though. So, like I said, I feel like there is this tougher energy of maybe some heartbreak this weekend, of maybe us looking at our situation, looking at our life, and kind of feeling the heartbreak, feeling like, oh, like I could have done this or I could have done that. And, don't get down on yourself this weekend. The past is the past, and realize that what is like you and within you, like you have that value within you. It's not something that's outside of you, it's within you. God is within you, right? And I think that's what it comes down to. But yeah, we can kind of look at things from like a broken heart kind of lens this weekend, and feeling like, maybe we don't have the money that we want. Maybe our relationship isn't going the way that we want. Maybe we don't have the relationship with our partner that we want, or with our kids, or with our parents, or with our colleagues. If we don't have the job that we want, we can always go into that place of lack. We can always go to that place of, feeling like we don't have enough. It's easy to go there. It's easy to go there. We've been conditioned to go to that place. We've been conditioned to recognize lack and negativity more than what we do have in the positive aspects. We have to recondition ourselves, if you will, to see our inherent abundance and the inherent opulence that God instilled in every single one of us. We have to recondition ourselves to see that energy. I have Peach. Inhale a breath of life. So yeah, I think this is definitely gonna be a weekend where it's like if you ever get to a moment where it just feels like it's too much, it's too much. Take in a breath of life. Take in a breath of life. And then you see the world as peachy. You see the world, you see your life as peachy, right? But you have to be able to, when you get to those moments where it feels like it's too much, feels like it's too much, and the walls are caving in, to take a deep breath, come back to center, ground yourself, meditate, pray, do whatever you have to do. But remember that you already have it within you, right? Your value is inherent, and it is a lot greater than what you have told yourself and what people have taught you to believe about yourself. It's a lot greater. But the only way that you're going to see that is by going within and speaking to God directly yourself, and not going to someone else, not listening to 1,000 astrologers and all this sort of stuff. We can only guide you, stuff like that, to the water. But even we still have to be able to seek and go directly to the source ourselves. So that's why taking in that deep breath, which is what God did to all of us, breathing in the breath of life to every single one of us, that's where you need to go to, and remember that is like going to the source. That is ultimately the most important thing that you can do. But like I said, that value is inherent within you, and no one can tell you, no one can tell you what your value is besides you and God. That's it. That's it. So that is going to do it for your weekend astrology forecast. I hope that you all enjoyed it. I pray and trust that this assists you on your journey this weekend as we prepare for the rest of February. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. If you'd like to have a personal reading with me, beloved, you can follow the link in the description below to my website, jphoenix.com. As always, y'all take care, stay blessed, have a wonderful weekend. I will see you all on Monday's astrology forecast. Peace.